thank you very much for your time. I'm just going to quickly ask you, because I know you're in a hurry, what are the challenges in front of the new government?
Challenges are plenty, because don't forget that India's growth rate is down from what we would like it to be, minimum of 8% to under 5%, and a desire to have it go up there. So what does it take to get the GDP growth back up to a level where all of India benefits from that growth? Because we saw when India was growing at 8 to 10%, the level at which people were coming out of poverty was much higher at the rate at which they were coming out than it has been before. So there is a connect between growth and poverty alleviation. There is a connect between growth and prosperity. So one is GDP growth. Now, the compelling issues in the near term that need addressing are a fiscal deficit, which at 4.5 to 4.6% is much higher than India is comfortable with. So that needs addressing.
I'll come to you quickly. You said inflation is a big issue, of course. Anything that you would want to add to this, but I also want to ask, inflation is going to be a key challenge, I think, for the new government, and as such we are in a with difficult times, and austerity already Modi has mentioned would be some austerity there. How would this sit with the popularity that he has got through the mandate?
You know, while we've just talked about the challenges and inflation being one of them that needs to be looked at, I think the same government, same Prime Minister Modi has very also clearly said that we need hard decisions.
Yes.
You know, you can't, it's not honey pie all the time. You have to really get down to addressing issues today for the benefit of tomorrow. And I think the mandate that's been given to him means that.
Yes.
In a sense, we would even say that it's a mandate for implementation. It's a mandate for delivery. Policies have been there for many, many years.
Yes.
And essentially in terms of what industry requires or what the economy requires is well known. Economists will tell you, governance people will tell you. The whole issue is really implementation, which is governance.
Yeah.
So if you have the mandate for the governance, you have to ensure that it actually delivers.
Yeah.
And when you begin to deliver, there are going to be tough decisions in that delivery. Fiscal deficit has to be handled, inflation has to be handled. All these things are going to require, subsidies may need to be roped in a bit. I mean, the country can't afford to spend more than it can afford.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, these are hard decisions, but they have to be taken, because if you don't take them, the fallout on that is so adverse for the economy as a whole and for future generations. This, I believe, is something which this government understands, with the new Prime Minister understands, and I'm sure that we will see this happen today rather than tomorrow.
Expectations from the budget?
Expectations are, I think, I'm on the side of being very realistic, and I would expect a tough budget. This is not going to be a budget where tax ops can be rolled out, because we've got a revenue shortage. It'll be interesting to see what fiscal targets this government sets itself, and I don't think we should be over-ambitious in what we seek to do there. It's important to demonstrate that the direction is right and that the right steps will be taken. Right steps would mean stripping subsidies. We've seen the first step, freight increases. Second step would be fuel subsidies going, and that action has continued. In fact, we haven't had to wait for the budget to show what the government would do. So I think the tough decisions are going to have to be that we can't expect taxes to come down. I would believe they shouldn't go up, because we need to bring investment back. We need to make sure that the spirit and change that has happened in perception remains. So not seeing taxes go up, but certainly go down would be difficult. There might be slight incentives given in the savings and investment fields for individuals, because we need to see retail investors returning to the market, for example. We would like to see people's savings and investments in financial products enhanced, and that may not be a big area for the government to give away. But otherwise, I would say we should be ready for a tough budget, but one which clearly sets out a GST agenda, which sets out, in fact, the enabling environment that we want to see for industry going forward.
Anything you would like to add?
Well, I would agree with that. I think, a new government coming in looks at a budget in a particular manner, but let's remember that a budget is nothing but the balance sheet of government.
Yes.
But somehow budgets have been very hyped up.
Yeah.
And in that hype, I think the important thing that the government can and will do is really signal. So if they signal that this is the way we are looking at going forward, that itself is good enough.
My last issue, the UK-India relationship. Because the entire market is very upbeat, the investment here is, the whole scenario is very upbeat. How do you see that developing and the foreign policy vis-a-vis that developing?
So I think it's quite fortunate for India that the UK's own environment has lifted, because UK is an important trade partner for India. And I think that India is looking like it's getting its act together and therefore, again, looks an attractive investment destination. The two coming together is good because it's not very helpful if India is booming but the UK isn't, and therefore the UK doesn't look to invest, or vice versa. So I think that's a big positive, and I think it's evident in the fact that, well, in the first place we're here and we sense that change, but equally that there's talk of a number of delegations and important visitors that will come from the UK into India, which tells me that the importance of India is very high on the UK agenda as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, the very fact that FICCI takes its first international delegation to UK post the new government, I think is signal enough. We value UK as a very important business destination both ways, and that stands.
That was, we had Naina Lal Kidwai and Dr. Didar Singh telling us that all India needs now is implementation, which has always been the sore point for India. The policies are there, but we need implementation because the world is looking and is upbeat about India. Levina Tandon for headlines today from London.